You could even say sort of a trend line play. If you break this trend line, you kind of want to be more bullish for another swing high. So I just added small, got a new swing high, so I went ahead and partial, took everything off actually. And then from that point, was basically done with the stock. Hello, my name is Jared. I'm a moderator with Bear Bull Traders, and I wanted to do a recap for my trade on RIOT on March 28th, 2022. So, John and I traded the morning session today, and we were looking at different stocks, but both of us were kind of keyed in on some crypto strength. And RIOT had a really good technical setup that I thought was going to be advantageous for the intraday session. So, in the morning, RIOT had sort of a tighter pre-market range, but all of the trade was occurring at a breakout level. Not only did we have Friday's high, which I'll talk about in just a moment, but if you're a cam trader, you're also sitting above R4. So as far as a breakout on the cam strategies, you have a really nice setup to really get the stock going. One thing I also liked is Friday's session was a bearish session. So on Friday, I kind of know that there's some bear positioning going into the weekend. And as this stock is sitting near the top side of that level, if we break out, that's going to put some pressure on the bears of this particular stock. You can also see that Friday sold off against sort of a swing high resistance back in time. So it's a really good inflection point for the stock, with the understanding that the asset, Bitcoin USD, actually broke out this weekend. It had a weekly breakout. So I knew there'd be some renewed interest, just needed to find the right levels and trade them. So going into the morning, I took a pretty aggressive support entry around 22, started small, but as we started to push and you had a nice orb set up, a 1 minute sort of buy up candle, I went ahead and added at the daily breakout level. What this did was it gave me an average on RIOT at about 22.15. My stop was still pretty much low of day. If we started to retest R4, I'd have to reevaluate the position. But RIOT pushed. We broke out, and I started profit taking around 2260s, 2275, and 90s, and then the break of 23, which was my sort of psychological target, just a whole dollar target to shoot for. We pushed into 23.25, so I took my last little piece off. And then as we started to pull back, VWAP was tested. I saw some nice buying interest coming back into the market. And RIOT did form sort of a VWAP bounce play. You could even say sort of a trend line play. If you break this trend line, you kind of want to be more bullish for another swing high. So I just added small, got a new swing high, so I went ahead and partial, took everything off actually. And then from that point, was basically done with the stock. Currently, you can see that it even back tested that 2250, which is the pre-market high. So there's a nice little back test here. You know, if I was still trading, I would say that would have been a really good risk to reward style entry for RIOT to go long once again. Couple of other reasons to think long. We talked about Friday's session, but the level 2 was loaded in the morning. They had plenty of liquidity to get me to 23. Additionally, the asset is bullish. And then last but not least, the NASDAQ was up on the session, especially in the morning. We had a nice run from previous day close. We pushed up pretty much all morning, and we got to R4. So the NASDAQ went straight from essentially the middle, you know, the close of last Friday, back to these inflection points or these cam ranges that often like to respond pretty well. So, you know, if you're short, you're kind of playing the R4 rejection today, but in the morning, the Qs were pretty much straight bullish. They really didn't pull back too much. So really like that for the trade in the moment, and then just evaluating the setup currently. As long as the Qs kind of remain, holding or strong, Riot has a good chance to keep going. SPY was a little weaker. Some weakness in financials today. Energy was bearish. It's maybe starting to get a bit more bullish right now, but all in all, just focusing on a few key aspects, getting long into the momentum and having the level 2 facilitate upside. You can even see, currently Riot has a good chance to keep going because the level 2 is still very bullish. Lots of people are asking for higher prices. So that's pretty much it. That's all I traded this morning. Kind of a one and done, little ad in between. And good idea, one good trade mentality, just focused in on one thing because there was plenty to trade this morning. Very good opening session, and I think it's just about keying into your stock and finding your profit. So with that said, my name is Jared. If you've liked this recap, feel free to leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and if you have any questions, leave them in the comments section below. I'll feel free to I'll look back and start answering those as they start to come in. So thank you. See y'all in the chat room, and as always, trade safe.